stakes is high when you talking about
So it looks like we have another episode of 3D Dad and Daughter Discussions. We're back and at it again, Dad.
We are
Hey.
back and at it again and feeling good. Any idea why?
Oh my goodness. I have every idea why. I think I have a double reason why, but you can go ahead
Oh,
and give it
please.
first.
No, no, do tell. Do
Well,
tell.
number one, hello. The big news was dropped a couple weeks back where we now have a black woman running for president in this year's election, 2024's elections, Kamala Harris. Woo! I gotta get some effects
Woo!
going to where we're just hooping and hollering and celebrating. We didn't really get to do this on our last episode. That
Just
was the
missed it.
double excitement for me because it's almost like we get the feeling of like, you see what we were saying in a
Yeah,
way,
yeah,
like, because the
yeah.
whole episode pretty much was in the brink end of, okay, we need to really get serious and at it about who we're voting for, et cetera, and how people are turning against Biden or not voting for either one. This one, we don't have choice. We have to,
Uh,
we
this
have
is
to
it.
make sure this is it. This is
We're gonna
it. This is
find
it.
out who we are right now. There's nowhere to hide. We're
Mhm.
gonna find out who we are. And when I say we, I mean the collective we, all of America, but especially America blessed with the cocoa complexions that we rock, the different levels. This is on us right now. All the bullshit aside, if we do not break turnout records right now, then we don't deserve any of the things that we claim that we want and are entitled to. Because now we have it lined up.
Mhm.
Everybody came a running to support. It surprised me, shocked me, but here we are right now. So let's not be the dog that chases the car down the street
Right,
and don't
right.
know what to do when he catch it. It's time.
It's time.
Hmm.
It's time to put it to the test to really put what do they say? Don't write a check that your mouth can't
Ass
cash.
can't cash.
Yeah,
Hmm.
something like that. Yeah, like so. Don't let your mouth write a check that your ass can't cash. But yeah,
Hmm.
definitely it's time to everything that we've been saying that we stand for, etc. This is the time. I mean, we're going to get to the nitty gritty of a lot of what's going on right now in the short
Hmm.
span of her running so far. It's only been 2 weeks, but it's been so much that's taken place already. I mean,
Hmm.
from the donations that she's raised over the course of time, which honestly, it makes perfect sense to me. I mean, hello, she's the first
Hmm.
black woman president. I think everybody is just thrilled and excited about, oh my goodness, another major moment in history that could potentially happen, but as well as a lot of other things that have been transpiring as well. But yeah, I'm just really looking forward to seeing how this is all going to pan out, even though I am a little nervous still at the same time because I know
Hmm.
that people are really going to be watching her, like with the extra,
Hmm.
x-ray visions and everything,
Hmm.
really buckling down on almost every single move. And
Yes. Sure they
yeah,
will. Sure they
yes.
will.
And that comes with, I think, the territory. Um, but yeah, this what we were aiming to discuss, or it's really a free conversation. But
Hmm.
overall, I just was curious. Well, it was brought to us in a family conversation about how currently Black women in just overall, it seems like we are concerned, or a lot of us are concerned about where, and correct me if I'm wrong about the terminology I'm using, but where pop culture is contributing to or helping the ongoing inferiority that Black women have been having to face or, struggle with over time in a way.
Like, what do you mean?
Just like not feeling respected or up to par for different positions when it comes down to professionalism or just anything in any role that they might play. More so just thinking about how pop culture and how Black women are, I guess the picture of us is painted to be And it more so came out with the BET Awards that just aired recently. And I remember when we were watching the replays together, because I didn't watch the whole show.
Mm-hmm.
Um, I only watched the replays. I've been doing that for a few years now. But it seemed like when we were watching them, almost every performance was of our Black women rappers.
Mm-hmm.
And a lot of the performances had a lot of twerking
Mm-hmm.
and gyrating, and a lot of the lyrics to the songs, you can tell that they were a little more vulgar than others, even though
Mm-hmm.
they blanked out a lot of them, but it's still some stuff that you can just tell. But
Mm-hmm.
just with that overall picture, and like, what is that really doing for us, especially in today's time where we have a Black woman running for president?
Mm-hmm.
What is that? What is it doing for us? Like, I don't know. It's just
Well,
it's just
let
circulating that
me.
Black women are not happy with the twerking pandemic that's going
Okay.
on anymore.
I am. I am a young man, a man, no longer young, in my early 50s. Okay. I know that it's shocking that somebody can look like me and be in their early 50s, but it's true. But no,
It's not.
in all seriousness, I understand that we are in an attention economy right now. Okay, it's always paid to get eyeballs on you. Going all the way back to the doo-wop days and the Frankie Lyman and teenagers and all that shit. It's always been valuable to get people to look at you, but never more valuable than it is now, where the gatekeepers of images are out of the way now, and all you need, as we now know, is a decent laptop or a good phone and a belief that you should project your image out to the whole world. Okay. And I've thought about this a lot because I have a reflexive, I recoil from the image of young, beautiful sisters shaking their asses damn near bare, it seemed like everywhere, any and everywhere. At the damn Juneteenth celebration, they was out there twerking or whatever and break. I'm like, okay, really? For the ancestors. We are twerking for the ancestors. And then you get a young sister, you were in the dance coming up, you hear the arguments. That's an African dance. And this is, I'm like, okay, I hear that. But if your African dance is having men all over the place diddling with themselves, it's not just an African dance. You are performing sexual hypersexuality for the public. Now, am I in a position to judge that? No. But what I am in a position to tell you is that you are trading on a commodity that you have. And if you're going to do that, you damn well better make sure that it's worth it to you across the board. If it is, that's cool. That's
Mm.
cool. Just know that what Black women are about to experience is something that a lot of Black men experienced back in 2008. Okay.
Mm.
Actually, 2007 when it got started. Once Kamala Harris gets elected president, I'm not saying that y'all that twerk have to stop twerking. That's ridiculous. That's ridiculous. But there will be a new high of achievement that has been achieved by somebody. There will be a new high of accomplishment that will be hit by somebody in your demographic. It may make you think differently about your main value being how good your booty looks shaking on the camera in front of everybody. It's just like a lot of Black men who had this odd, they were slow to warm to Obama, and this fashionable pessimism about what he could do and what he would do and then what he did. All that is about the fact that a lot of Black men don't like the fact that that dude set a new standard for excellence and performance for us,
Mm.
and almost none of us can meet that. You know, I'm a bad motherfucker. I'm never going to be elected president. Matter of fact, I won't get elected to city council because I curse too much, as you know, on here. And I don't have skeletons in my closet. I got graveyards in my closet. So there will be no election for David St. Vincent. Okay, that's out.
Okay.
But I know that I'm capable. I know that I know shit. But a lot of Black men are like that. When Barack Obama made it through the gauntlet of all of the shit that they threw up against him and got there anyway, you have Black men of every level who was kind of on a sneak tip hating. They knew that they had to kind of get on board because it would just be too obvious. Unless you're one of these asshole black conservative motherfuckers, in which case your job is to bring down other black folk. I'm talking about like everyday black dude. Like, remember Tavis Smiley? He used to be a big deal. Well, Tavis Smiley, Cornel West, guys like that who were really, really famous for freedom fighting and telling truth to power and all that shit. Well, once the power looks like you, that math changes a little bit. It's like you fight the power, but we are the power now. You can talk that shit about Obama's dad being from Africa all you want to. Like, fuck that. When he's walking down the street in Chicago, he black just like you.
Right.
When they was calling him niggas and everything else when he was a kid in school, that's the same thing happened to a lot of us that went to schools. We were alone or in a very small minority. So that dude got through all of that stuff and made it to the high point. What does that say about you? Now,
it forces you to look at yourself.
It makes you look at yourself different. Now, what I'm saying is that, you know, if you are a sister and at some point you decided to sing about the goings on of your rectum or your anus, and God bless that young sister or whatever have you, the Sexy Red, I wish her nothing but good. I regret that the very first time I saw her, she was singing about her rectum.
Yeah.
That is deeply unfortunate. That's unfortunate. This is not a young woman that's absent of talent. Why does a 50-year-old motherfucker know about your anus? Why? I have no business knowing anything about your anus, young lady. None. And you should be suspect of any man who would encourage you to do such a thing. You should be suspect of a dude that's like, yeah, go ahead, do it. Like, why you think he's doing that? Either he's making some money off of it, or he can't stop beating it, looking at you. He doesn't mean you no good. So maybe upon the election of President Harris, and that has a beautiful ring to it, and I firmly believe that she's going to win. First of all, I thought Biden was going to win. I know the media and all that doom and gloom. Fuck that. He was going to win because you got to show me the one person who voted for Biden last time, who's going to trade from him and vote for Trump with his 34 convictions and all his fucked up shit because Biden is old. Find me that real person who can pass a background check that you didn't find doing some other fraudulent shit for Republicans 5 minutes ago. That's bullshit. That's a media creation. Biden was going to win, but Harris is going to win bigger. And her victory will belong to all of us, all of America. And maybe some sisters might not feel quite as emboldened, if you will, to make their money sing about their most intimate body parts. There's a certain level of resisting the cultural authority. If a girl gets up in public and is like, yeah, I'll say whatever the fuck I want to say, I own my body, this is mine, and your mother and all that. Okay, right. A part of the energy driving that is that somebody else is telling you not to do it. That the power echelon doesn't want you to do it, or respectable politics Negroes don't want you to do it, or maybe your daddy was a preacher and he don't want you to do it. Well, I can dig all of that. A lot of great art comes out of that. However, once you invite the world into your backside, literally invite the world into your backside, you cashed out. And you got nothing else to give, because anything you are gonna have to give your body the science when you die to give anything more than you've given. Seriously.
What do you mean?
Well, I don't want this to get too far. Listen.
Okay.
Listen. How would you feel? You have a niece. I have a granddaughter that we absolutely adore. If you could look into a crystal ball and look down the line 15, 20 years and find her singing about her rectum, how would that make you feel?
Cringy.
Yeah. I hope I'll still be alive by then. I probably will. That's not that long from now. But if it was further than that and I was there, I believe I would come back and haunt, like in The Exorcist, or not like Amityville, because that's the devil. I would haunt her over some shit like that. Because that is deeply disrespectful to all of your predecessors who put world in front of you that you could use more than discussions of your rectum. I know that's like eight, but it's the listen. She has a hit record, and the first thing she's talking about is the color of her.
No,
Uh,
no,
that's the
agree.
first
And
thing
I
I
can't,
heard.
no, I agree. I had a similar experience. I mean, and look, over time, I've been one of those that's like, I like Sexy Red's music, but I will openly acknowledge and admit when the first time I heard her was hearing that song. And immediately I was like, ugh. I was like, I don't want yo booty holes. Oh, excuse me.
No, no.
Well,
I
this is
don't
our
think that
open
that's a, I
platform,
think that
but
that's
it's
a
just,
phrase you can use on you. I don't think that there's a
it's nothing
you
wrong with using it on there on
you can
YouTube.
bleep it or do a little thing to it, but
But
point
just
taken.
saying that, just like the whole me even being taken aback or trying to stop myself from saying it just then is how I felt when I heard
Hmm.
the song. I'm
Yeah.
just like, what? Like, it's not to say that these songs haven't been made before or that women haven't really been vocal about their sexuality in hip hop or just musically, period, over time.
Mhm.
But we can't ignore the reality that it seems it's exacerbated over time. Like it's just gotten a lot bigger and it's just spreading in a lot more ways. And I think because of social media and, with the broadcasting, like on award shows, because I remember I was saying, yeah, I wonder what it's like for the grandpas and stuff that are sitting out in the audience watching
Um,
Meg and Lotto and them do and perform these songs, but it's almost like it's the norm now. It's the norm. And I
it
think that that's what is the problem, for lack of a better term. I think it's something that we should address. I'm
well,
not saying that twerking should be banned or
of
that
course
women
not. That's
shouldn't do
ridiculous.
that. I'm not saying that women shouldn't be vocal about, their sexualities. I do think that there's just a time and a place for everything.
You're
And
right. You're
yeah,
right.
yeah. And I think that when you have award shows, maybe they should really be look I don't know. There should be a way that's found to help everybody perform in a way that's respectable to the entire audience because it is an award show. You're not specifically performing for that one particular audience's fan base. They're watching to help to see them receive whatever awards they might be honored to
Mhm.
receive, but not
Don't
at their own
gospel
concert.
people get awards on the BET Awards?
They do. They
Hmm.
do.
So I mean,
But
not
they
that you're gonna
have
let
like a
them run your
short
life, but
segment.
but they're in the room,
They're in the
and it's just
right.
not that you're
Oh
trying
my
to let them
God, I
run
didn't
your
even
life. Well, here this is. I
okay.
want you to envision this.
Yeah.
My home girl and my home folks. The Winans are from Detroit.
Hmm.
They've been making hit gospel records forever. They got so many hit gospel records that I listen to some of the music. And I don't even know gospel music or even really like gospel music, but I listen to them.
Okay.
I
Okay.
would be willing to bet anything that there were some whinings in that room. It doesn't make
Mm,
them no better than anybody else, but my goodness, do we have that little regard for each other? It's
yeah.
like I try not to say like I know that I'm a guy who, I cuss so much I should star in a Quentin Tarantino movie. I get that. But I still pull back in certain scenarios just out of the respect for my other folk that might be around it that might be sensitive to that. Just because I am not a religious man does not mean I hold other religious folk in contempt. Now
Exactly.
that is called good citizenship. That is called, frankly, being an evolved person. But that's me. What I will
Hmm.
say what I think is interesting that also happened to those awards though, is that at that exact same venue, the host of that show that night, the great, inestimable Taraji P. Henson, who I think we all universally adore, looked into the camera and scolded the audience at home and in that room over their apathy toward the upcoming election. She got the feel that people was talking about they didn't want to vote and everything, and she did her to right. She sounded just like Cookie Lyons and just lit in the camera and went in and was
Hmm.
hollering about Project 2025 and
Hmm.
did her thing. Look it up. You know how she does. And the next day, Project 2025 had more Google searches than Taylor
Mm,
Swift and the NFL.
mm, mm,
She is more responsible for getting the word out on that than anybody else on the scene, any political commentator, pundit, elected official, or whatever. I bring that up to say that pop culture plays a very important role in our political activism and activity and engagement. And that
absolutely.
happened in the same show. And I enjoy the fact that it seems like the sisters in my peer group, frankly, who a lot of them can still do all that shit, and y'all just don't know that they can do that because they don't want you to know that they can do it, but they can.
Yeah,
Trust me, they ass can do it. They can't wait to show you how good they can still do it.
I believe
Um,
it.
but I have noticed a lack of condemnation from those sisters on the younger sisters for doing what they're doing. And I think that's a very good sign for the future
Mm,
because I think they understand the landscape that they're in and why they're doing it and leveraging so hard against the asset that they think that they have. And they
yeah.
want to give them room to come home. So then here we come. You flash forward a couple of weeks, and who is the headlining entertainer at the Kamala Harris rally right here in the ATL?
Maybe
The
so.
greatest twerker of all. If there's a twerking hall of fame, they should have a fucking statue of her out front. Forget about being inside with the rest of. No, no, no. She is the greatest of all time of twerking. And
Yeah.
she was the headline performer at the Kamala Harris rally in the ATL. And she's
Mhm.
going to win Georgia. Just mark that shit down.
Oh, we got
But
respect.
did you see her performance?
Mhm.
She was not twerking. She's sexy, but I didn't see. Now, mind you, maybe I wasn't in the room. I wasn't
Mhm.
down at the convention center. But what she had on, it was
It
sexy,
was a
but
cute,
it
but
was
it was still
shifted.
within the, yeah.
That's
Hmm.
right. It was audience sensitive. So then when she
Okay.
came out on the stage at her own concert the other day, basically in her normal Megan the Stallion wear, and
Hmm.
decided to stop and discuss the election, I was fully in support of that
I
because that
agree.
was
Me
her
too.
venue. Like, okay, this
Hmm.
is my show. These people
That's
came to
different.
see me, but they're gonna get these politics too. And let
Hmm.
all women who have that kind of capability know if you tell silly motherfuckers to vote, hey, if they ain't going to, they ain't gonna tell you that they not going to because they want what you got. And if they know that
Hmm.
that's a non-starter, they'll straighten up.
Yeah.
After you say what you got to say, I'll tell you the story of what made me a lifelong voter. I will be glad to tell you. And
Okay.
I was years away from voting.
Well, yeah, I mean, I definitely want to hear about that. But I agree, hands down. I mean, that was her concert, it was her
Hmm.
show, and a whole lot more of her fan base and following are going to be at her show than at
Hmm.
the actual rally where she also performed. So I was fully in support of that as well. I
Hmm.
just I was when I saw that she performed at the rally, I didn't see the full performance. I did see just clips and snips of her performing body and other things. And I saw she did her little light, twerk. She didn't do
She can't
anything
help
like
but
she usually
shake. If
does.
you,
But that's
you're gonna
but
move.
right. But and I saw she did that little light thing. And I was like, okay, don't not too much, Megan, for the rally, but she did keep it cute. You know what I mean? And that
Hmm.
is probably okay. I just know I saw like I did see one older lady's face in the background, and she was just like, "Oh, we're doing this here," But I think I totally get what Kamala is doing or her team
That's
are
right.
doing. They're trying to reach everyone that they can, and what I really don't want to happen is for those to have the idea that, oh well, we have a black woman in president, so we do have certain standards that we have in mind for women. So that means we need to cut out all of the current activity that's going on with women being vocal about their sexualities or open with what they do in the pop culture. But I also want it to be taken into consideration that,
Say what you have to say.
well, I don't want anybody to feel like she's not coming from a genuine place
Speak freely.
because she has rappers like Quavo from Migos
Hmm.
supporting her campaign, or Megan Thee Stallion out there performing, because these are two very well known, very top. rated rappers in the rap game right now.
Hmm.
And I just don't want I don't want it to be lost in translation. And I think that they know that these people have numbers, and that where there's a voice, there is a vote that can be contributed to the tally. So I think
Hmm.
that that's really what the end goal is. But I just don't want anybody to forget that that's what the end goal is, and that she really, all of her things that she is striving for and striving to do for her presidency are things that these rappers advocate for. You know, stopping up the gun violence, rights for women's rights in their bodies, etc. They're genuinely supporting her because they feel like she supports them. So
Hmm. Hmm.
I think I just want people to understand that and not take it for anything other than just that.
Well, I wonder what do you think they could take it for, and who is the they, by the way, that you're concerned about?
Um, I guess the bots that are out there saying they don't want to vote, that they don't
Mm.
want to vote, they're not sure who to vote for, or those who may not have caught our last episode when we let them know nobody knows what the VP does. So
Hmm.
concerned
How
about
can
what
you
she has to offer as a president.
do you think it's possible to never argue with a bot again? Do you think that's possible? Or
I don't argue with the
I'm not saying
bots.
argue with, but is it possible to shut out the words of bots? Do you think that it's possible?
Yeah, I think it's possible for me.
Because see, let me share this with you. Um, I get there's a we are our community is not a monolith. Blah blah fucking blah. Everybody has heard that it's true. Our community is not a monolith.
Mm,
However, our community is not nearly as far flung and divided as one would be led to believe based upon what happens in social media. Which, by the way, I don't know about Meta, whatever the what's the Instagram? That's the main one that most younger people use now. I know old ass people use Facebook, young people use Instagram, and I guess political nerds or people that orient that way use Twitter, or which now that punk ass Elon Musk calls X, which will always just be Twitter to me. He can eat a
okay.
fat one. Um, and I am proud to say I actually stopped on Twitter, Jesus, many years ago.
Okay.
Many years ago. I
Me
realized it was
too.
making me dumber
Mm,
because every minute that I spent sending a tweet was a minute I wasn't spending actually writing an essay that could pay me money. Every
mm,
minute, all of that energy was being poured into something that could not pour back into me. And I'm a pugilistic person. I don't mind debating. I don't mind, getting on the gloves and going a few rounds. And I realized some of the responses to me started to look a little funny about a year or two in. I was like, this is a fucking bot. This is a
yeah.
bot. This is something that's programmed to try to get me upset about this. And I think it was the second time Trump was, no, before that.
Mm,
Trump was running, and I was going on as I do about what a piece of shit he is, and he was then, he is now, and he will die in that same condition. Of that, you can be sure. Only
mm,
question is, will he die with an ankle bracelet on, sitting somewhere trying to waddle his fat ass and play shuffleboard, or will he choke on a Big Mac right before he presses the button and blows us all to hell? Who the hell knows? I suppose, you got to tune in for the season finale to find out. But I
mm,
realized then that that whole world is one giant suicide pack circle jerk
mm,
or clusterfuck, whichever you prefer. But that's what it is. If I
mm.
can't see you and talk to you, engage you in a direct way, it is not worth having that conversation. There's nothing to be gained there.
Okay.
So if the doubts that are creeping into your spirit about the enthusiasm behind Vice President Harris and it's coming from on there, it that's what it's meant to do. That shit
Mm,
is meant to depress and dispirit us because they being the white power echelon learned a long time ago. It is too hard to control those people with chains and with whips and with, you know, posses riding around at night. That's too much work, and it's too bloody, and I'm tired of doing it. It is much better to get them to mind fuck themselves. So we can just find ways to have them circulate their own oppression or their oppressive mind. Well, that shit is on autopilot. We can just turn all our attention to everything, and then we can blame it on them. Isn't that sweet? We can have them all fucked up and then blame them for it. How dope is that? Well, there ain't no lack of enthusiasm for Kamala Harris. Even motherfuckers that say it are just trying to be contrary, because in the end, that's their only currency, or that's something that they draw joy from. Just being a contrarian in the room, you know, saying what ain't this and what ain't that. And it's not enough of them to really like rate. And I'm going to tell you the truth about y'all's generation. These rappers, this Quavo and Megan Thee Stallion and all that, if their fan bases were activated to vote, I don't have the exact numbers, but I will bet you my damn car, and it's free and clear, that there's more of them than all the Christian evangelicals in America, probably by a factor of at least 2. There are more people who buy the music of a Megan Thee Stallion and Quavo and Taylor Swift and Beyonce and Rihanna. It ain't even fucking close.
No,
I mean, it's not close. And that's why they're so upset over the cultural connections that exist there. And if we just resist the temptation to criticize each other in a way that puts us in opposition, if we can do it with love, coaching without being caustic, okay? If we can reach out, it's like, okay, I really wish that your young sister, Sexy Red, would not discuss her anus, but I love her anyway. I feel like if she had me in her life, she wouldn't do that shit. Not because she won't me. I'm too old for her, whatever. I'm older than her grandfather. Well, maybe not all that, but you get the point. It's just about what influence ever touched her to keep her from going that way. Or you can be a rapper, but you ain't got to say that. I mean, Jesus, there's all kinds of shit to rap about. And apparently you're good with words. You mean to tell me that's all you got? That's it? That's it, seriously.
Right.
Nothing else? Come on. I know that you got it in you better than that. And it's not just her. Some of my peers that rap that say stuff that I think is stupid. I'm like, really? Really? Some of the smartest dudes that get on the microphone, every other word is nigga this and nigga that, and it blows me away. I don't understand it. It's like you're recycling our oppression. You're just recycling it. And we don't realize that. But that's a separate discussion. As for now, don't be dispirited by any of that shit that you see. Yes, y'all should graduate from twerk culture to the extent that it's the primary thing that you're selling. It's fine to have that, like like Pootie Tang's belt and shit. You can just pull it off when you need to, and whap, and get something straight with it. But then you can put it right back on, and it's sitting there waiting. Okay, let it be that. Don't be, hey, how you doing? What's your arm, David St. Vincent? Much money, and it's just like it's like, damn, man, slow down. Can I find out what you want to drink first before you just start breaking it? Tell me, take it easy. I know that young men think that shit. They might not want to say it. They're like, damn, like, I mean, you do realize that you have to be different than the shit I can see on my phone all the time, right? Otherwise, why am I going to bother with you? I can just look at twerking and shit on my computer on the phone all the time. If I just want that. If we're in person, how about you show me why you are real, and that is a cartoon version of a woman? Because you have control over that. You got control over that. But, you know, if that's just you, baby, that's just you. Do it, enjoy it. Do it, enjoy it. Don't let nobody make you feel bad about yourself, but don't get mad at people who mean you good, tell you shit you don't want to hear either. Because all y'all young women that's doing, they need to knock that bullshit off. People that's been around for 4, 5, and 6 decades, they might have learned a couple things that your little young ass hadn't. Okay? Think because you can make money just doing, like, basically playing and recording and put like that doesn't make you smart. It just gave you some money. Good for you. But there's lifing that's learned to be learned out here. And there's ways to put respect on people's names who can't ask for it, because people went through a whole lot so you could be free to be a frivolous person and do frivolous things and play around and fuck around and not vote and not read and not do anything productive. Somebody paid a price for you to be able to just be that no account. At the very least, treat them nice in their past, and they didn't really get that much going on when they was here. It was doom and gloom like a motherfucker. I get mad if Michigan loses a damn football game I don't want to be talked to for a day and shit. That, I mean, the motherfucker before me was worried about whether or not they could when they could feed folks. I'm like, okay, I have to check myself. Everybody can fall victim to that. You know what I'm saying? So anyway, once again, I digress.
Once again, I digress. That's gonna be like your outro line. But no, yeah, I think that's 100% agreeable on my end. Having the connection that we tend to have with the pop culture, because they're able to reach audiences that probably don't watch the news on a day to day
Oh,
or
they most certainly do.
politics. So that,
Hmm.
that those numbers that you were talking about skyrocketing and bypassing those others, I can definitely see how that would be the case. So,
Hmm.
and just taking all of that into consideration. But yeah, oh, we're all for hotties for Kamala,
I'm all the
that's
way. Is
all
it Hottie?
for it.
Oh, is it Hotties for Harris? Which one is it?
Oh, hotties for Harris. That's what it is.
For
That
reasons
makes,
that we won't state here, I prefer Hotties for Harris.
of course.
That just works for me. I would love to live in a world where there's all these legions of very well constructed young women, and they're going around with their t-shirts on, just snug and hugging, and it says Hotties for Harris on there. And here I am. I'm like, damn, my father and my brothers are not here to see this. That's a shame. I have to enjoy this all by
You
myself.
know what would be the perfect outro song for that? So that was your favorite song.
Which
That what is it? I like that. The fucking problem. That would be the perfect theme song of a
right?
bunch of
Yeah,
women running by with
yeah.
their
Well,
hotties for Harris. But
sure. That would be a lovely thing. But it's gonna be a lot of lovely things, whatever. And I hope folks get used to it because there will be a lot of Kamala discussion for the next couple few months here because this is what's going on. This is historical. I'm leaning into it. I'm all the way live. Uh, Tim Waltz, she picked him just today. He wasn't who I wanted, but after a few hours of watching his videos, whatever, my only fear was that I might see him one day and kiss him on the mouth. I fucking love that guy.
yeah,
He
I
is
heard he was a good pick.
he is so relatable, like to a
Mhm.
dude that has lived his whole life in the city, like shown up city, in like
Okay.
real cities. But this guy, this rural dude, raised in Nebraska and running Minnesota. I'm like, me and this guy are like right here. It's
Okay.
pretty incredible. And
Nice.
plus, and I know you're trying to rap, but she solved a really big problem with that pick. And everybody needs to pay attention to this.
Okay.
The Democratic Party has suffered from being very city centric for like my whole lifetime. Okay.
Mhm.
And when I say city centric, I mean people who live in the rural parts of the country and even like the exurbs, not necessarily in the country or in the suburbs, but like just kind of not anywhere near the major metro area in their state, really felt a little isolated from the Democratic Party. When people who study politics, like in school, like say sophomore year in college, when you start getting into a little more political theory, you're like, damn, it seemed to me that rural white folk and black folk in the city should vote together. They got the same goddamn problem. Well, you think that, but other people ain't sitting in that room and learning that shit. They're learning whatever they're learning. They're learning to be a dentist or, they're learning, engineering or whatever. They haven't studied that. So they
Mm.
don't see how connected the interests of those parties are. So over the years, Democrats had to rely on the city vote to win. Well, this guy is ruled like a big dog, and he's adorable. Everybody I've seen who has been like, okay, I fucking love this guy. It's all low. You love him, and he's
Mhm.
gonna break that problem. And then it's the Republicans are screwed. They're gonna have to do
Definitely.
some ill shit to try to win. They're gonna
So,
have to try to do some really illmatic shit to win. And believe me, when somebody is running from going to prison, they'll
Oh,
do
they'll do
anything.
anything.
They'll do anything to keep because even though he's not gonna go like the real can to him, if he can't
Yeah.
just go and and dive into a pool of Big Macs every day, that's torture to him.
Mhm.
So there's nothing that he won't do to avoid this. So we should dig that. But
Yeah.
we could discuss the other details of this thing down the line. Whatever. I know you wanted to hit that point about what
Yes,
Kamala's ascension means to the culture of Black women, and I
yes,
think we have started off that conversation quite nicely, if I
I
do say
agree.
so.
I
And I
agree. I
do.
think so too. Thank you so much, Dad, as
Oh,
always, for
please,
joining
thanking me for.
me. Because you're just here, and I don't know, I
Well,
just feel the need to. So,
well, thank you. I
you're
wouldn't
welcome.
be me. I wouldn't be me if it wasn't for you first, and of course your brothers after that. But so
Yes.
I can never thank you enough because you actually like listen to my ass run my mouth about this. God only knows why, but
I enjoy what you have to say. But yes, everybody, I digress. Yeah, please let us know what you think about this topic at hand. Again, we have our speak pipeline in the link down below. And we are looking forward to talking with you in the next episode. Thank you for joining us yet again, and we'll see you next time. Bye.
Stakes is high.